Good evening, everyone, and welcome. We are going to be talking about stress and how to live your life with a lot less stress. This is from a daily motivational article on 7 thoughtful ways to consider a life of less stress. If you have any questions, please feel free to give Dr. Justine a text. Please help me welcome Dr. Justine. She is our leader here at Justine Blainey Wellness Center. She is a leader in our community as well as in our organization, and she believes that everyone deserves a healthcare team that focuses on prevention, optimal health, and open communication. Welcome, Justine.
Hi, everybody. All right, great stuff. I love these motivational articles. They are free, so sign up for them. But coming up, we're trying to make sure we share something new with you all the time. So we do have our detox workshop, and Dr. Udani will be joining me. We're going to talk about that excess sweating and how that affects your overall health, not just how you smell, and what kind of supplements that you can use to help and how to change your diet to help. We're going to talk about stretches to do before and after exercises and golf stretches. And we're going to talk about how to build that thicker skin. You know, when you feel hurt, how do you deal with comments, actions that really just, make you feel bad? How do you build that thicker skin? I know my two boys, my husband, my son, they have way thicker skin than me. I'm a little bit of a softie. So definitely learning how we can toughen up a little and be able to be more resilient. Those things are coming up. Again, trying to get better one step at a time, one thing every single week. And please share these with others. We make them out of the out of our heart. We were here to try and help you be better. There is no cost for these, so share them with others. So today, again, we're talking about 7 things to ask yourself if you want to reduce stress. Now, we've done a ton of talks on stress, but today we're going to talk about 7 essential questions. So these are writer-downers. You're not going to be able to figure out all the answers up front. Some of these are things that you're going to want to ponder on or meditate on for, a half an hour. So write these 7 topics down, and then you'll be able to ponder over them. And really, it's 7 ways to reduce stress and help make life just a little bit easier every single day. So number 1, we're talking about things that we want to ask for consideration is what stays or goes. A lot of people hate to purge. I love to purge. It always makes you feel a little bit lighter and feels like you have space for other things. But if you look behind me, you'll see that I love books. And so during the pandemic, I got rid of almost about 15 huge boxes of books and had to realize that, some of those books had been with me over 20, maybe even 30 years. It was time for someone else to enjoy them. And so definitely what stays, what goes of our things in our home. For example, if you haven't worn something for over a year, maybe it's time to go, or make sure you try it on and it still fits. I know that I've had some family members and they would have a closet for what they called their fat clothes and then their skinny clothes closet. So, finding a way that if there's the bigger clothes, they got to go because you don't want to have that option. So definitely it's time to consider what stays, what goes. Our paperwork makes it so much easier. On a sad note, I was just thinking of somebody who, one of our patients who lost a family member, an uncle, and had to go up and driving to Barrie from Brampton and constantly going out just to try and clean out all of the paperwork. And it was just completely overwhelming, not only dealing with the passing, but also dealing with all of the paperwork and all of the leftover belongings. So really, it's a time to start to consider and think ahead. So think about what adds stress, what doesn't, but also some activities or things that we do on a regular basis. So whether it's our hobbies, I love artwork, so I have a whole artwork cabinet, but sometimes it's time to clean out the glues, the glue guns, because, they've just gone bad. The markers have gone bad. The paperwork's gone bad. Scrap paper, maybe I'm just not going to use it. I don't need to keep it. So taking a look at things that we do on a regular basis and what's really a priority and does that need to go? And sometimes it's just writing out your whole week, exactly how you spend every single minute. How much time are you on social media? Do you need to get rid of Twitter or Facebook in order to give yourself more ideas? So This is a time to consider and critique our ideas, our values, our beliefs, our behaviors, our patterns, and see if there's anything that's not in an alignment with our regular goals. I know one of the things is easy to try and compete with other norms. All right. So I know because I went to chiropractic college, I was in school quite a bit later. You're finishing really around 28 years old, whereas many of my cousins finish around 22. So they're getting houses at 23, 24, and I'm not until into my 30s. So it really, we could try and compete with family, compete with friends, rather than just focusing on our own personal journey and our own personal peace, and be content that yes, at the beginning of working career, and which was started much later than my friends because I was in school a lot longer, living in my mother's basement, and that's okay. So we don't have to compete with the Joneses. We do realize that there are some things that we need to consider what our priorities are and what are social expectations. So I know when I was playing hockey at the highest level, the national level, and what was called the NWHL at that level, and then I got pregnant, my husband did give me an ultimatum. He's like, hey, you can't be a doctor, play hockey at the highest level, be a mom, and be a spouse. You can do 3 of the 4. And I had to decide, even though it was expected of me to continue to play hockey at the highest level, I had to reevaluate my priorities. And of course, that was my spouse, my children, then my profession to be a doctor, and hockey had to come forth, when it had been up to that point, pretty much number 2, right at the top of the list, right? So I had to realign my own priorities and play a lot less often, and realize that my workouts, my fitness, my health had to be a priority, but it didn't have to be taking 30 hours a week. So each one of us has to take into consideration, do an inventory of our activities, the things that are important, and then also the people. And I realized that some of the people I was hanging out with just really were negative Nellies, a lot of complaining, and instead look for people who are always excited about their life, excited, have that spark of joy. I love talking to Dr. Pam because always something's exciting, always something is great, always something amazing coming up, whether it's getting her beehives for her kids or going to her daughter's swimming or her son's hockey. But there's something always exciting coming up in their life. These are the people we want to hang with because we are the best of the 5 people we hang with. And this happens whether it's a hockey dressing room or it's family or it's colleagues. Really, we can't get rid of hanging out with everybody, and nobody has a perfect life. So we all need to be able to share and commiserate a little bit with challenges, but the majority of the top 5 people we spend time with, we want to make sure as we do that inventory, are they problematic or are they uplifting? Are they the ones that you go and feel great to be around? And that's our goal at the Justine Blaine Wellness Center. Is we're here and we're excited to see you. We're excited to be a part of your health journey. So sometimes it seems cruel, or maybe even impersonalized to scrutinize some of our relationships, but for mental health, for our own personal health, we do need to make those evaluations. All right. We have to ask ourselves about what we need versus what we want. Need versus what we want. And those, a lot of times we definitely think what we need and what we want are the same thing, and they're truly not. So one of the things that I try to think about this is my Aunt Justine, who I was named after, they had a fire. The machine that made the door for the garage door to go up and down, it blew up and the fire happened, and they lost a huge part of their home, and everybody was healthy and safe. But it makes you evaluate but what's truly important in your own home. So if you looked around your house, what do you exactly need to keep, or if you had to leave your home right this minute, what are you taking with you? Really, do you need more than your passport and your running shoes? So just to start to really evaluate what is important, This can be painless. Just what is important, what are comfort things in your own home, and what are truly things that you need to take with you. So, for example, I have a great painting that my dad passed on to me. And it's a Robert Bateman. It's super nice. It was an amazing gift. But honestly, if there's a fire, I'm not grabbing the painting, right? I grab my passport, making sure my family's safe, and I'm out. There's really nothing physical that's that important. So we want to be able to do a list of our wants versus our needs. And really, we find that a lot of our needs are the bottom of the hierarchy. Like it's, our exercise clothes, our food, a pillow or a bed to lay on. So it really helps us separate what is a real need versus a desire to help us feel better. And when we sort of purge and minimalize, we realize that we actually feel a lot lighter. And when I mean not just physically lighter, but also emotionally lighter. So some of the questions that we can ask ourselves would be, would you struggle to survive, to stay safe without it? So this amazing painting that my dad passed on to me. I have amazing painting from my cousin who painted herself of a scenery that where we had been on holidays together. Although I love that painting and it's so personal, and so grateful for Margie for painting for me. If there's a fire, I'm leaving it behind, right? So what is something that makes me feel good and I want around me versus I absolutely need to survive? And would I be devastated if could I live without it or not? And really, when we start to think about it, there's a ton of things that we really want but don't need, and that helps us just to simplify our lives, and perhaps it's going to be something that someone else can truly enjoy. And that was one of the best parts of the pandemic for me, was really purging the storage rooms, all the closets, the books, because our family just has tons of books. All of us love them and love the hands-on paper books. So what can you purge that you can live without? And for going without, just thinking about yourself, if you did it as a sort of visualization, what would it be like if you didn't have that? Would you miss it? Would you be relieved? Would someone else really enjoy it? Does that contribute to your success, right? Is there something there that's making you better, or just make you feel more confident? And that's okay too. For example, the necklace that I have on, my dad gave it to me when I was 16 years old. It's something that means emotionally something to me. So I would wear it all the time because it helps me feel connected and strong. So, or my ring, I have my wedding rings, which help me feel strong. And I have my ring, which is our family crest, that says integrity is our best virtue. Those are things that mean something to me, but other jewelry doesn't. So really trying to evaluate what we need to hold on to. So when we ask ourselves, number 4 is better for worse, is asking ourselves if having that thing makes our life better or worse, and if so, how? So how does it make our lives better, whether it's a relationship or a thing? For example, for us, love my Vitamix blender. We use it all the time. In fact, we used it so much that we blew out the motor, sent to Vitamix, and they sent us another bearing so the motor would work, right? So there's some things that are just absolute musts, and there's other things. For example, we have this, I don't know, this flipper to make grilled cheese, and honestly, we never end up using it. If our family actually does make grilled cheese, which is super rare, we're probably still just going to use a regular frying pan. So sometimes there's just clutter that we don't use. And certainly, I think moving helps us. And so we can sometimes just pretend we're moving. And if we were moving, what don't we need? What have we collected over time? So, what are we holding on to that we really don't need? And start to make a list of the things you have in your home. I know family patients of ours, they did just have a major fire. Again, everybody was able to get out. It was during the day. And they, got a house rented from them from the insurance company, but they didn't have really an idea of what's in their house. And now to try and figure out after the fact, after the fire, is much more difficult. So to have a weekend to categorize, 1 week bedroom at a time can make it a lot easier to know exactly what you have and then what maybe can go. For better or for worse, decide what's super important, but then also the exceptions, things that are in the middle ground. And so, example would be some of the gifts that we may have received that maybe don't have financial value, but they absolutely have personal value to you. And some of those things might be things like a picture. So, I'll give you an example. This is a picture of myself and my teammate who's super important. And beside me, I also have a little wooden toy that I used, and I keep all this time, but I used it through both pregnancies as something to focus on. It's a little wooden, like deer that rolls on the ground. So definitely, sometimes there's just something that really brings back good memories, and that will be part of your exceptions. As we get number 5, if you're happy and you know it, that's amazing. Focusing on the things that add to your life and really try to fill the cup with those things that add to your life, whether it's reading or really positive podcasts or sports, but definitely focusing on things that fill your cup mentally, physically, nutritionally, so that we're being the best version of ourselves. And number 5 is, what sacrifices are we able to make for our overall health? And so some of that might be sleep, some of that might be TV that we're giving up, or a Netflix episode, so that we can focus on our happiness. Maybe that's getting on the spin bike, or when it's warm weather, getting out for a walk rather than watching a TV show or always being so up to date with the negative news. Maybe we just don't need to know, right? We'll find out tomorrow. Somebody will tell you, and we can really challenge ourselves to follow our values, our beliefs, our cultures, and taking responsibility for the things that are super important for our life, that new life sign. So asking ourselves, what are you willing to sacrifice? And for example, for me, staying up to date with TV shows, music, even some of the readings that are pleasure readings are going to go second to me being the best mom, the best wife, and the best doctor, and my own personal fitness. So taking a look at putting our priorities first, and does it fit into those priorities? Number 6 is, are we hitting the easy button? Are we looking to make life easy, or just because we're tired or we're lazy, and we can self-evaluate for that. It's okay to have a few pajama days, but or are we looking for things harder, which will help challenge ourselves? And when we're challenging, we're creating change, that's when we're going to do that much better, right? We all need to be climbing new mountains and new challenges and learning new skills. So, for example, coming up, I'm taking a stained glass class with my mom, so I get the time with my mom, family time, as well as time to challenge myself and use creativity. So one of the best birthday gifts for me was a book my Dr. Vanessa gave me on hiking. So looking forward to trying some new hikes through Caledon and getting to see different parts of nature. So that's looking and purposely trying to look for areas that are going to make ourselves a little bit stronger, a little bit harder. So we know that when we go for an exercise routine, if it's a little bit challenging, we feel so much better when we've completed it, when we're sweating. That's when we know that we've taken a step closer to being the best version of ourselves. So we're looking towards number 7, is that healthy living, and evaluating the things in our life, whether it's not just things like alcohol, cigarettes, different medications, different thought patterns, different sleep patterns, but really taking an inventory to our overall healthy living. And that's the physical healthy living, but also the emotional healthy living. And that's where people can get into doom scrolling, really get lost in our phones and wasted so much time. Even just that head down position really damaging the neck, makes the neck and shoulders really, really tense. So how are we feeding ourselves food that invigorates us, or just gives us that quick comfort food and then we feel horrible afterwards? Are we doing regular detoxes, regular exercise programs? Do we have a coach on our side in order to make sure we're on track with our healthy goals? So the Maxliving Advanced plan is for those with advanced, high cholesterol, high triglycerides. It is the advanced plan is the one where for fibromyalgia, osteoarthritis, areas of discomfort, heart disease. And this is for advanced healing. And for the advanced plan, you do lose weight when you follow it, but it's not making like huge counting of calories. You're looking for quality foods with this and really trying to eat the quality foods. So it's sort of a combination of paleo, which is sort of eating by God, healthy foods that grow from earth, and a combination of keto where we're reducing sugars. The difference is we're not adding in fake sugars or fake toxins. So with the advanced plan on the nutritional side, we're looking to eliminate sugars. If we're having fruits, we're looking for low glycemic fruits like berries and green apples. We're looking to increase our healthy fats like avocados, nuts, and seeds, olives, olive oil, and get rid of trans fats and the unhealthy fats like vegetable oils. We're improving our proteins, so the grass-fed, free range, and wild. And we're trying to minimize grains at all. So you're looking toward, because anything white bread, white rice, white potatoes, white pasta, even if you go with, whole grain pasta, it still turns to a sugar. And then we're looking to increase our exercise, our energy, our muscle balance, and minimize those toxins and take care of our spine and nervous system. So we do have naturopaths and holistic nutritionists that can help you with a healthy nutrition plan, because that's going to give you your fuel, right? With the proper fuel, you're going to get in the right area. Many of us need a coach. We need somebody to kind of push us, make sure we're online to getting the results we want. And I know when, if you're 10 pounds heavier, you still do feel sluggish. So how do we, drop that 10 pounds, but also keep it off in a way that we don't feel like we're missing out? How does chiropractic help? Well, chiropractors help with stress, right? They help with stress with the nervous system. The nervous system controls all function in the body. So you see from the brain there, the nervous system has to send messages down the brain, down the spinal cord to every single organ you see on this slide. So whether it's affecting your heart, your kidneys, your lungs, your digestion, the power in your arms, your legs, if we want to be the best version of ourselves, we have to remove subluxations. And those are the misalignments in the spine that put pressure on these nerves. So literally chiropractors are removing pressure, removing stress off the nervous system. So highly recommend everybody gets a spinal checkup. That's how you know if you have subluxations, if your leg lengths are balanced, your hips, your pelvis is balanced. Do you have a foot that rolls in, a knee that rolls in? Do you have a posture at work or repetitive strain at work that's causing constant repetitive strain and damage to the spine? And when we, patients and including myself, when we're well adjusted, we just manage the daily challenges that come our way with much more ease. And that allows us to be a better version of ourselves for our colleagues, but also for our family. So taking care of your nervous system absolutely helps with stress. So we talked about 7 ways, 7 questions to ask ourselves for stress. Definitely, we're here to help you. Massage therapy, naturopathy, chiropractic all helps reduce stress. Stay tuned with us for all of our upcoming talks. Share them with friends and family. We're talking about detox coming up next. Yes, that's a big trend for weight loss, but it's more than that. I know for myself, dealing with parasites, not fun. So definitely, and heavy metal toxicities that lead to cancer. So definitely look at all these awesome talks. We're here to help you, and we look forward to being a part of your health journey. So definitely connect with us. Please do a like, please do a review. We're doing these for free. Our passion to serve and make a difference worldwide. So we look forward to being with you again soon.